Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA. Today, with another Blood Talk. Today we'll talk about the problem with scorings in MMA fights. In this year, 2022, we had already many incidents with wrong scorecards or just scorecards where the whole MMA world didn't agree with. And it keeps going on and on, really, it doesn't stop. And I feel like since the last few months, it just continues to be more, like the cases just continue to grow. And that's really a bad thing, man, because on the first hand, you destroy or you just hurt the record of the fighter, which is pretty important. On the other hand, he might not get his win money or he won't get his win money, which is very important for many fighters as well, because if you get 12,000 to show up and 12,000 to win and you don't have many sponsors and you're an up-and-comer, you need that other 12,000, especially if you won the fight, but the judges didn't give the fight to you because they think you didn't win, even though everybody knows and everybody saw you won. So yeah, and what's the problem there? Let's just talk about the case that we had this weekend with Holy Holm and Vieira. So Holy Holm controlled Vieira the whole fight, or most of the time of the fight, through defense, at defense. In the clinch, at defense, she controlled her. She was in control of the fight. And I myself am a fan. Most of the fighters that I like or I'm a fan of are strikers. So I had some problems with that too. Like that fighters just get grapple banged. And of course that makes you angry as a fan. I understand it, that you think like, no, why does he win the fight like that? That's not how you fight. That's not fun at all, whatever. But if we're honest with ourselves, if we're completely honest, if you control somebody against the cage or take him down and control him on the ground, and the other one doesn't do anything about it, they can't escape, then you should win that fight. Then you're winning that fight. Because if you control a certain aspect of a fight, and you control the fight there for most of the time, you should be winning the fight. If it's entertaining or not, doesn't mean shit. That's just our own opinion that we don't like it. Just because we don't like it doesn't mean it has to be wrong or whatever, or the referee has to step in. I agree, the referee has to step in sometimes when you're like controlling somebody against the cage and a clinch and you don't do nothing. You don't land any knees, you don't try to punch, you don't even have takedown attempts, you just chill there. Then of course, referee step in at after a few seconds without doing shit, like after, I don't know, 25 seconds without doing anything. Referee may step in, say, okay, stand up, or if you're already standing up in the clinch, separate and strike. That's okay. But it's like the same if you would have a striker that just has a beautiful jab and a longer reach than the opponent, and he just keeps jabbing him, non-stop.
Jab, slip, uppercut, backhand, roll.
He just jabs him. Not even hard jabs, just easy jabs to control the distance and keeping him away from him. If the other one is maybe a grappler and he tries to get a hold of him, he can't get a hold of him because he just gets jabbed and he doesn't know what to do. That's not fun, of course. Especially if you're a fan of the grappler, you may not like it. I agree. But should then the grappler win the fight just because he gets one takedown after that? No, you shouldn't. It may not be entertaining, but the other one is controlling the fight. If you can't do nothing about the fighting style of the opponent, you should lose the fight. As easy as that. Even if you get controlled, I don't know, 3 minutes of the fight, and then the other 2 minutes you may land some nice strikes, these 3 minutes of control time, if the other person lands punches there as well and try to get takedowns, whatever, is more effective. Okay, maybe if you knock him down, whatever, or very significant strikes, then you can argue about it, of course. It always depends. But at the end of the day, it's completely okay to grapple bang somebody. If the other one can't do shit, you're just better than him in that aspect, and it's mixed martial arts. Otherwise, watch Glory Kickboxing. You won't see any grapple bangs there. But the problem is that they are unified rules for judging, but they don't really use them. Like the judges, every judge scores the fight different sometimes. How is that possible? There should be unified rules how to judge a fight. I don't know, cage control does that and that kind of points. And that should be mandatory for every judge to stick to that. And if they don't stick to that, if like every judge has it 29-28 for person A and the one judge just has it 30-27 for the other one, then in my opinion, okay, that wouldn't make a difference because the other person will still win a fight. But you should you should fire that person then, because something can't be right there. Something can't be right. If everybody agrees person A won the fight and you score it differently, even 30-27 in a dominant way, something can't be right. Maybe, I don't know, you have some prejudgment against the fighter. It is possible. Even though they should be neutral, of course, but everybody can say, yeah, I'm neutral, but every person has a prejudgment. And maybe the judge doesn't like the other fighter. It's possible. And in cases where such a strange decision, such a strange judging of the fight wins somebody a fight, where it's very strange, really, where you can't even argue about that was wrong. In my opinion, it should be possible to like rejudge the fight and say, okay, this judgment is denied, and I don't know, score no contest, score the draw, or I don't know. You have to make a plan for that, of course, but I would just say, I don't know, maybe rebook the fight or rejudge the fight, something like that. Just there has to be an opinion, because the fighter who loses, even though they didn't really lost, doesn't get half of his paycheck, has a loss more on the record, which can be very important also in the win column for your next fight. Maybe you're close to a title fight and you don't get a title fight because of that. It can have so many effects on a fighter's career, and that's crucial. And that shouldn't happen. We can also talk about open scoring. Ariel Helwani talks about that a lot. I like that. Because if you grapple bank somebody and the other person lands a few strikes, and the judges tell you after round one, hey, you lost that round, then you maybe are very angry, but at least you know, hey, okay, I lost that round. I may need to change my approach to the fight. But if you think you're winning the fight, everybody tells you winning the fight, the corner tells you, and then you hear Bruce Buffer saying unanimous decision for the other one, you're like, what the heck? So open scoring, in my opinion, would be amazing. We humans tend to not like new stuff. That's in our DNA. We don't like new stuff normally. The same with open scoring. Many people say, no, that's bullshit, blah, 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 leave it how it is. Just try it. Why not just give it a chance for, I don't know, 1 year? I'm pretty sure most of the people that don't like it right now would like it then and say, okay, you were right. This makes sense. Because in my opinion, that is the future. That is the future. If you can't fix the problem with these bad judges and you can't, I don't know, you can't find a solution for that, which it seems they can't, because the problem is there since years and it's just getting worse and they don't find a solution. So they might have to change the approach, and open scoring would be a change in the approach. That's just my opinion on that. Write your opinion in the comments, it would really interest me. We can have a nice discussion about that, I would appreciate that. What was the worst judgment in your opinion that you ever saw? What was like the worst, the fight that got judged the worst? That you're like, what the f just happened? Write it in the comments. For me, it would, there are many fights, but Gleison Tibau against Khabib is probably one that has a crazy effect, because Khabib is still undefeated, even though he lost a fight in my opinion. He fought a good fight, but he lost. And Gleison Tibau will be the hero because he beat Khabib. He's like the only one to beat Khabib. That would be crazy. So in my opinion, that's one of the worst examples. Write in the comments. As always, make sure to eat your vegetables, stay healthy, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Bloodsport out.
Eat your vegetables.